Hello, welcome this evening to the Gman recaps. My name is Fatin, and I'm joined this evening by both of my commentators, Viking Cop and Infinite Pink. So, hello, Viking Cop.
Hello, good evening.
And hello, Infinite Pink.
Hey guys.
All right, it's time to have a look. We're going to be looking in particular at Gman 2 this week, but we'll have a look at Gman 1 and 3 as well. First of all, we've just been chatting off air. Just quick catch up on how your games have gone. Viking, what was happening with you this week?
Still undefeated, so happy.
5-1-0 at the top of Division 1, is it?
Yeah, it was a very nice game with two sides, absolutely. First half I kicked his face, second half he outplayed me. So a draw was quite fair and for me lucky, because he would have won in the last run, but he didn't roll 5+ for a Saurus dodge. So
This is against
I take the draw.
Yep.
I take the draw.
Against the top Lizard Man team in G-Man, HUD's pretty scary alliterative Allosauri. And Pink, what was I caught a bit of your match. We've just been talking about it.
Didn't go too well. Lost against Manasatra's Wild Tigers. Orc team. Just got pretty outbashed in the first half. He kept getting removals on my guys. I was quite happy though in the end, really, to be honest. It's mainly just KOs, and any injuries got regens. So I think probably my best part of the game was my regens.
You were rolling really well on the regen, so that's got to be positive. I'm still seeing a 1750 TV against your score, so that must mean that the Nurgle is still quite a formidable team for the rest of the season. So it should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, he did get my block guard mighty blow claw guy did die, but luckily he regened. There was 1 second of like absolute panic, but it was okay.
How long does it take to build up those skills on the Nurgle warriors? I don't envy anybody that's spent that long trying to coax together a decent Nurgle warrior. But let's have a look at. So we're going to start off. I don't know. Should we start from the bottom or start from the top? Let's go from the top, I think. So, Division 2. I'm looking at it. Is it on your screens, guys?
Yeah, I got you.
At the top of the division, running away with it. Division 2 G-Man at the moment is Gaudi with his Skaven. I am loving watching Gaudi. I caught up with his match this week. We'll show a little bit of it in a second. But let's have a quick look at the teams first. So I've got BB2 managed to bring up. Let's have a look. So Gaudi's Ravensclaws. They were up against Crow Dogs, Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Pardon? Apologies for the interruption, but in the Twitch channel I only see the intro screen for the game, while in our double screen I can see the league manager.
Oh, it might be just a little bit of a delay. So Twitch, remember Twitch is maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds delayed. So
Okay.
Do you see anything now in Twitch?
No, the same as before. It's Bill and Bob speaking.
Bill and Bob. Oh, the commentator dudes.
Yeah.
I think it should be okay. Should be okay. Whatever streaming
Okay.
should be fine.
Maybe
so
it's at just this delay.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. So let's have a look. We've got Drop Dead Gorgeous losing 1-2 to Ravensclaws Gaudi. Poor old Crow Dog. I think we were talking about Crow Dog's team at the beginning of the season. Do you remember? Do you remember those lovely werewolves?
Yep.
Wasn't that the one that had Agi 5?
It was an Agi 5 Blodge werewolf, I think. That
It was.
I think that was Blackie as well, but
Yeah, I'm looking now actually in the graveyard. He did actually die as well. He didn't just get retired.
yeah. And this game, it was the misfortune of Crow Dog. On the very first block from a Storm Vermin, he lost his white and no regen, his best white. So to lose your only Mighty Blow tackle guy on your team when you're fighting against Skaven like Gaudi's, it's kind of been a good feeling early on in the match. But it was a good fight. Let's have a quick look at Gaudi's team. You two, you play Chaos and Nurgle respectively. Do you know anything about Agility 4?
Hey, I've got 2 agility 4 on my team. That'd be
Oh,
good.
your Nurgle team is quite.
Yeah, well, I do actually play Skaven in a different league. So
So, what do you think about these gutter runners then?
I'm just horrendously jealous. It's a beautiful team. I love it. I think it's pretty much got. And once he
Yeah.
has Mighty Plow on the Claw Storm Vermin, I think that's pretty much that team is complete. Doesn't need anything else. Maybe another player, another lineman.
Yeah, what's it at the moment? Team of 12?
Team of 13?
No, 13.
No,
Okay,
that might be okay actually. He would probably want 2 or 3. He's high team value, so he can have a bit of a bench.
I think he could go to 14 bench quite happily and just one extra lineman. But he's got a dirty player, he's got a kick guy, he's got no other skills on his linemen. He's got the leader, which is a good choice. I think we talked about that before. And one of his gutter runners has taken a permanent injury, so it's AV6. But it's a good enough gutter runner, movement 10. Horns, so he's rolled a double to get horns, so it blitzes at strength 3.
Yeah, I'm assuming he'll give that tackle when he gets to the next level. And to be honest, if it's his one of his sackers, probably going to be in the backfield most of the time anyway. So hopefully he won't get hit very often. Although he will be jumping in there and hitting cage or something. So the next turn he could get smacked around, I suppose.
Well, he's got 2 sackers, so he does what I like to do in a Skaven team. So he goes with 2 wrestle gutter runners and 2 bot gutter runners.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Wrestle ones have both rolled doubles, so they've both got horns, which is really good. And obviously one of them's rolled doubles to get horns and 2 heads, and then he's rolled the movement as well. So he's got. I think he probably uses Snarl, the second one, the sidestep strip ball one, as his main sacker, but he might use Weeble Nibbler if it's a really tricky one to get through, but it's worth a go. So
Yeah.
or in more desperate situations. But yeah, he doesn't want to put his AV6 in the way too often.
I have a question in here because I'm not an expert. I'm trying to play some Skaven with questionable success at the moment in Clan League. Is Horns that good for gutter runners? Because I tend to see it quite often in players. And, for example, sorry, you play with some gutters with Dauntless that I find maybe a bit more interesting than Horns because you don't need to blitz. You have to rely on a 2+ roll, that's true.
Yep.
But you can also take on stronger players from strength 4 or even strength 5 with a lucky 3+ or 4+ roll. And also you don't have this extra 10k bloat. I won't call it bloat, but extra team value.
Yeah. That's really interesting actually. I think I do prefer Dauntless. I did have a think about this when I was looking at his team. Basically, Dauntless is a 2+ roll to be Horns. So, so if you roll a 2+, then it gives you that strength 3 blitz on a strength 3 player, which is kind of just exactly what Horns does. But it can do more because you can even go for a strength 4 player. And on a 3+, then it'll work against strength 4. And the chance of failure, so usually you try this to get a 2 dice block on somebody when you roll Dauntless, and if you roll that 1 on Dauntless, it's not a disaster. Usually you don't re-roll that, you just get a 1 dice block instead. So I really like Dauntless. And the other thing you mentioned, Viking, is right, that it works when you're not blitzing, so Horns only does nothing when you're just blocking. And you get quite a lot of situations where your gutter runner's left next door to somebody, you need to sort of break out of a situation, and a gutter runner can throw a block using his Dauntless, and you can blitz elsewhere to make it free. So I think, and apart from the fact that you mentioned that Horns is 30k as a double skill, whereas Dauntless is 20k, so I really, really like Dauntless on my gutters. I would get Horns if I'd rolled a strength upgrade, and in the past when I've had strength 3 gutter runners, I get Horns on them, because then Dauntless is actually no good. I don't ever get Dauntless on a strength 3 player, and Horns makes him a strength 4 blitzer, which is very powerful. So I would get Horns on a strength up gutter, but probably Dauntless on most other ones. But you know, Gaudi seems to be rocking along with his Horn sackers. He's just rolled a lot of doubles, so you can't really complain about what he's rolled for his gutters here.
Yeah. The only thing I guess he is missing is a little bit more guard. Like, it'd be nice for him to get maybe a guard on the other storm vermin, but his gutter runners aren't going to get it at this point. I don't think so.
I think the guard you'd quite fancy on a blodge step gutter runner, but his gutter runners do all kinds of other things. So he's got the leap big hand guy for ball retrieval, and he's got the one turner. So whether he'll get guard if he rolls any more doubles on a gutter runner, a guard gutter runner is really nice. You don't really want to be putting the AB6 guy next to anybody, so he wouldn't necessarily be doing much guarding. So
No,
I think
you probably don't want it on the rest of it either.
I think looking at, he might get guard on Nizzle Scuttle, the other blitzer, Storm Vermin, and then have guard on both Storm Vermins.
Yeah, I think I think guard on that guy and might blow on the other one, and they're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And he's got the Agi 4 thrower, so this is
The Agi 4 accurate thrower.
Yeah.
So
I calculated his one turn percentage earlier when I was looking at it, and picking up from pretty much anywhere in the backfield and throwing with the thrower, he's got a 66% chance of scoring the one turner. So
that's so filthy. Should be forbidden, man.
so since a certain Nurgle player on the recap team is playing him next week, you are in charge of stomping on the gutter runner as often as possible.
That's the plan.
Let's have a quick look. So let's have a look at Crowdog's team. So Crowdog's team was mentioned in the podcast. Haringzord, Kedgeruz, and Metal were talking about Crowdog's team. They had mentioned it's taken some losses, but it's still looking pretty decent actually.
Yeah.
Not only decent, I'd say looking pretty good. If it weren't for the loss of the white.
Yeah, he's gonna fire the strength 2 white, so that leaves him with fewer mighty blow things than he would probably want to. But he's still
all that
got
guard is nice though. Having two zombies of guard, and they've both managed to get block as well. That's pretty great for Necro being this like kind of halfway team kind of thing. What do they call them?
Hybrid team, yeah.
Hybrid. Having that extra guard makes a huge difference.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting. So this is a team whose strength is its strength, with those flesh golems and the big guard on the zombies and the guard white as well. So not necessarily the dodge game. So he's only got one ghoul, just with blodge, and one leveled up werewolf, who's a nice werewolf. But yeah, it's just really solid. I should imagine he'd win a lot of blocking games against other sort of medium strength teams, like humans, for example. And he's probably looked to dominate the game from there, but he won't get that many Kaz now that he's lost his way. He's relying on the werewolf, and probably would like to get a tackle on the werewolf, so it's another 9 points away from second level up, or another level up, and he probably wants tackle on Mole, the mighty blow werewolf, to start getting some more Kaz. But let's see where these two teams end up in the division. So just come back a little bit. Gaudi is 6-0-0 on the division with 14 plus touchdown, or 14 touchdowns scored in his 6 games. So that's pretty awesome on 18 points maximum. Crowdog is hanging in there despite his horrendous losses. He's on 2-2-2, so it's on 8 points, and is currently lying in 5th place. Let's have a look. This was your game, Pink.
Yeah.
We're going to have a look at the War Tigers, who are pretty scary. Are they the highest TV team in their division? Yes, they are, 1920. How about the Manasutra War Tigers? How did you enjoy facing all this strength?
It's a lot of flush strength, and he also has a lot more guard than me, so it was always going to be quite tough. I got to receive So I was thinking, okay, that's kind of what I needed. I think if I hadn't have been receiving, I would have been really on the back foot. That's what I managed to receive. I got to receive, so I was thinking I could get some damage in, and that was kind of how I was going to counteract the fact that he has more strength and more guard than me. Was just getting the damage in early. But it kind of went the other way around, and my hits didn't really do anything. Even I managed to get a few claw mighty blow hits in, but nothing came of it, and he was pretty lucky on his removals against me. No permanents really, like I said before. It was mostly KOs, and there was a couple of casts, but they regened. But just after a few turns, I was just too far down, and I was kind of just playing on the back foot most of the time.
It's interesting, you don't normally think about Nurgle being out strength, but here he's got 2 more natural strength 4 players than you. He's got 3 guard to your 2. And although you've got... How did King Tubbs perform? The 4th version of King Tubbs.
I don't think he likes stupid or anything, but I think he most of the time is just kind of running around after things. And he also got KO'd, I think, fairly early on.
Would you say that the Beast is better against more agi teams, that he can just stick to a lot of guys? Because I mean, if you try,
Yeah,
often you just try and ram the Beast onto a couple of the enemy players, right? But if they're a lot of strength 4 and you just put the Beast on 2 players, then all he needs is 1 assist and he can knock the Beast over. So it's best just sticking it to a load of strength 3 or strength 2 players. I would have.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I think ideal situation is when you're playing against teams with those strength 2 dodgy kind of players, and you just don't even let them use their dodge. It's great against skinks and stuff, because they're stunty as well. It can be really hard to keep hold of them, but just don't let them move anywhere with tentacles. No problem.
Viking, as a Chaos player, have you ever been tempted to take some tentacles on one of your players?
To be honest, it's the plan. It was the plan in my wrestle, tackle, tail, goat.
He was
Next
going to
team
have...
was going to be tentacles because it was going to look really cool in the field.
Freaking badass.
Sure.
Yes, not very useful with a strength 3 player, but with the Chaos Warrior, it's always handy as a late skill because of strength 4. Of course, if you manage to roll doubles, plus strength with a Chaos Warrior, then tentacles is almost a must because then it becomes an amazing annoying piece.
I can
With
see
movement 5 and no really stupid, so quite reliable.
Yeah,
I completely agree. If I rolled plus strength on any of my warriors, I'd probably get tentacles on them.
Yeah, straight away tentacles. I think that would be... Well, having a Nurgle team with 2 tentacles would be pretty crazy, I think. It's one thing I really don't like fighting against, tentacles, and particularly stand firm tentacles, so when you can't just try and push them off somehow. Really don't like that, so... Interesting one to see. So luckily the Nurgle team, Infection Inc.'s still together after that one, having taken a bit of a beating. It's a 2-1 win to Wild Tigers, so Manufacturer's Wild Tigers. He got a level up on his... Oh, he's got a Frenzy, Strength 4, Stand Firm, Blitzer. What would you... That's Mighty Blow next, right?
We talked about it a bit after the game, actually. He's gone Tackle. There was quite a few things we spoke about. I think the 2 things I suggested was Mighty Blow and Tackle. What else did we... I can't remember. I could probably look at the Discord chat and tell you.
No, I think I could definitely see Tackle. It depends what teams he's going to be playing against next, and so if you go Mighty Blow, then you'd probably get Tackle next, and if you go Tackle, you'd probably go Mighty Blow next, I guess. So it just would speed up his development a bit if he goes Mighty Blow. He'll get more Kaz, but it's a really nice.
Yeah, I think the other one was Juggernaut. Obviously, it helps with surfing.
Yeah, there are a few options here. Yeah, some of them are not really obvious. I'd like to see some players picking grab on these surfer players.
You can't.
Because
you're not allowed to pick grab on a frenzy.
It's true. Yeah, that was the point. Yeah, because of frenzy.
But I certainly think grab on one player is pretty cool, because you can set up surfs with if you have one player with grab near the sidelines and then you have the other player with frenzy, then you can kind of set people up into serfs, and it's very, very dangerous. So then again, like for a frenzy player to have only movement 5 is a little bit annoying.
Yeah, that's what I was checking. It's kind of a pity because just this movement nerf is hindering him a little bit.
I did see Juggernaut Orc from Yacind in Gman 1 surf our friend Kejruz's flesh golem with stand firm this week. So Juggernaut Frenzy can be pretty wicked in that respect. You can.
No, Juggernaut is a really amazing skill to have. I have it in my killer myself.
Yeah, it's
and
against wrestle.
Yeah, against wrestle it works. Against stand firm it works. Against basically even against block it works because it allows you to push your opponent away.
Yep.
So you are not based against him anymore and can move freely.
Yeah, it's really good.
If you roll the dreaded sort of like 1 in 9 skull both down or something like that, where you basically get stuck to the player that you've been blitzing and need to dodge away or something, then Juggernaut will always ensure that you can sort of push the other guy away and then retreat. Because often the player that you're blitzing is a really dangerous player, which is why you're blitzing him in the first place. So you never want to get.
You don't want to do that.
It's like, fuck, I'm right next to your mighty blow piling on guy, so I want to get back away again. So yeah, Juggernaut certainly.
Quite a lot when you're fouling as well. It's like fouling this really scary dude, and you're like, it just doesn't work. He's just gonna go smash me.
It's like, what? Not even a stun? Yeah, so that happens. I do quite often foul with my gutter runners as well, so it's particularly particularly nasty when that doesn't work out. So yeah, that can happen. Well, so those two teams, Skaven looking great on the top of the division. Division 2, Manasutra not far behind on 14 points on 4 wins and 2 draws. Next up, let's have a look at Zinj. Zinj is a regular contributor to the Gman Discord. He mentions what's going on quite a lot with his 7 circles, and this week I saw the match report come up and I saw a lot of skulls. So I immediately had a quick look at the game.
I have noticed that Ken's Chaos Dwarf team are on a 9:30 team.
Oh, Ken. I wouldn't.
Poor Ken.
Ken's not a happy
There's
bunny
quite a
this
few
week.
games there. Both his central.
Oh.
Also this next game.
I don't know who is playing Ken this week, but Ken will not be bringing any ball centaurs to the party. And he will only be bringing 4 chaos blockers. No.
Oh, I'm just looking as well. He lost the the Claw Mighty Blow and the Mighty Blow Guard stand firm. That's really sad.
He basically lost his best two Chaos Dwarf blockers. So, Ken's this was I think I remember Zinj saying that his Claw Mighty Blow hasn't really operated much this season, and then it just went into overtime against Ken. So, despite the fact that it looks like Ken hired the chainsaw guy for Chorfs this round, he did not manage to do much damage to Zinj. Well, let's have a look at Zinj's Chaos team. It's Viking, you're the Chaos expert. How's he looking? This is the one with the armor up Minotaur.
I was looking at the Mino myself now and checking that he made the 2 kills himself. So I am actually impressed by that player. We spoke at the beginning of the season. It was an interesting piece, this one with block, Claw Mighty Blows. It was a dedicated killer. Plus armor was kind of fun, but there's a point in there. Personally, I would maybe have liked to pick plus movement for a movement 5 frenzy piece, but it's doing okay. And it's really cool because I think it's the only Minotaur in the Gman top divisions, probably.
Yeah, I think it probably is. I can't think of many Minotaurs. I mean, a block claw strength 6 blitzer is pretty scary for many teams. Like orcs are pretty scared of that Minotaur. Dwarfs are pretty scared of that Minotaur.
It is great for killing big guys because he's got the horns.
Yeah,
He's like, made for killing big guys.
yeah, and it's going to be even cooler soon because it's only 2 points from leveling again. So
Oh, yeah.
next skill, I would say that Tentacles is the classic for this kind of player, but I don't know.
Tentacles or
She,
guard, probably, isn't it?
yeah, but she can go original and pick break tackle or something else. So
Piling
no.
on?
Yeah, it's a possibility.
I
But
think, yeah, I'm not sure you want your big guy on the ground, but then he's on value 9, so
yeah. And then he has two killers. One of them it's also a hybrid killer supporter with guard, two guard warriors, two pillars. I mean the warriors are really nice and quite developed but for the guard ones, but the guard ones are slow to develop anyways. And number 5 fire, it's also 2 points from scaling, so yeah, it's good. What surprises me most is that he doesn't have a dedicated ball carrier.
yeah.
I think it's been like that for a while as well, because I've looked at that a few times. We'll check. He hasn't just lost them, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't had one.
What's he just picked up for his 2 beastmen here? Let's just have a quick look back on the
He did have an
updated version of the team. So it's in just 7 circles. He's now picked up. Okay,
One
so
is a dirty player,
yep.
so that's good, and I approve. And the other is a block guarder now, and that's also good, and I also approve. So he has a roster with 13 players. That's nice. 2 players bench. He has ball carriers. Let's call it ball carrier with agility 4. He needs for sure block and sure hands in near future. He has 5 guarders. That's very nice. He has 3 claw mighty blow players. That's also very nice. He has a diving tackle that is always cool in a chaos team, and a dirty player. So I think that this is a really well-rounded squad.
He's got. I think usually you'd say chaos. They develop a killer goat, right? Like a beastman who's got the mighty blow claw. But
he has a killer goat. He has a killer mega goat.
Yeah, that's
he has
right.
a minotaur.
Yeah, he's obviously using the minotaur as like a blitz every turn for damage type guy, which is working out for him because he's got block, so he turns over a lot less than normal, I guess. So.
Yeah, you have to think also that.
Too much though.
Sorry.
I still don't like it too much though because of the wild animal.
Yeah, like 1 in 6 of your blitzes, you're going to roll a 1, and you're going to miss out on the blitz that entire turn. And so if it's a make or break play, then yeah.
But you also you open yourself up to bad things happening. You know, like even though it's not likely, you could roll a 1 on 3 times in a row, and then like you waste 3 blitzes in one half. Like,
I mean,
I'm not saying, obviously that's not going to happen that often, but you're instantly making it possible. Whereas, what I was going to say, I think the next guy I might prefer tentacles over guard because keeping people next to you means that you can get more hits in without having to blitz with them.
Yeah, so you can blitz elsewhere instead. Yeah, I guess.
But I know a lot of good chaos coaches do blitz with the Minotaur a lot, so.
Especially at low TV.
Well, I've never played Sync myself. I'm looking forward to it next season for sure. And but I've been reading what he's writing on a guide for chaos coaches, and I'd say that I agree 95% with his approach to the game. I'm sure that when he has to make a critical blitz or a tactical one, he will not be using the Mino, he will be using the Warrior, because at the end of the day it's also strength 4, mighty block claw. But the good point of the Mino, and I'm thinking of it, is that it allows you with a 2+ roll to make to set up easy 3-die blocks that are more reliable to bring your opponents down. And also because of frenzy gives you 2 chances for it.
I think that's good for damage, but I can imagine if I was playing against this team, I would be looking at and seeing no tackle. He's got no tackle anywhere on the team, so if I can stop the Minotaur getting anywhere close to my ball, then I wouldn't be that scared of this team at this current stage of development. I think he needs some stuff against agi teams, that he's not just gonna use his claw against. I mean, Agi teams are not going to be that scared. They might have blodgers. They're not going to be that scared of this team.
Well, I remember him playing Benachar at the beginning of the season and wiping out the Woodies because of just rolling pows.
Just rolling a lot of pows. Yeah, that's fair enough. It can happen, but you know, he's got. I think he needs a bit of tackle on some way. He's got one diving tackle, but I think he could do with a bit of that. But maybe he's looked at his upcoming opponents and he's kind of timing what's happening at different stages. So Zinj is looking good. He is currently in 3rd place in Division 2. Joined 3rd place, I have to say. And yeah, I wasn't going to forget that. And now, let's see. Is there any way back for Ken's Black and Wrecker team? A team that managed to give me one of my 2 beatings in the regular league season last season, and so
he's also the reason I didn't get into playoffs.
He did manage to win a crucial match. So no, he drew. What did he do?
He drew against me.
He drew against
No. He beat me. All I had to do was draw, I think, and he managed to beat me.
So Ken had the upper hand versus both of us last season, but that must be painful. I'll have to talk to Ken and see what his plans are, but.
He's playing the high sales next week, which out of everyone that might be one of the better matchups for him when he's on a lower team. Like he's still got 4 tackle.
Oh, I don't know. He's gonna have nothing but four blockers and
just loads of yeah. I'll be honest. I'd forgotten for a second that the Sentinels were out.
Also 800k in inducements, yeah.
Yeah, but
so anything can happen. I mean, lots of bribes, chainsaw, wizard, bullshit in general.
But he's not in a good position to. He's got no dirty players, so he's not in a good position to take care of make use of the bribes. He's got. I mean, the Chaos Dwarf star players are a bit rubbish. They got the Strength 6 Minor, which is not ideal against elves at all,
the Strength 6 Minor can perform better than you think. Eh? I've used it myself, and it's a lot of fun when you blitz with Strength 7.
But he's well, yeah, but you don't need Strength 7 to beat like some sort of blodging catcher, do you? So Wood Elf catcher. So yeah, I do feel for Ken a bit here, but
he's gonna struggle. Yeah.
We'll say good luck to him against the Woodies this week. He's down to 930 temporarily. He'll be back up to a little bit, but yeah, that's some heavy losses there. Let's move on to Halob's Uruk Haikus. We've got a little bunch of teams here, sort of in the middle. On Halob's on 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. Let's see. They were the ones up against Venachar's Wood Elves this week. And a good win for the Wood Elves, 3-0.
I think that Venachar kind of rolled several blitzes during this game.
Well that always helps. Did you catch the game, or did you catch some of the chat
I catch some comment from Harrison. I think it was kind of 3 blitzes in a row, 2 for the Woodies and 1 for the Orcs, something like that. But
yeah. Well, I think you'd rather have a blitz and be Woodies than have a blitz and be Orcs, wouldn't you? And this team is still. I don't think it's taken much damage over the course of the season so far.
I think they've lost another treeman. That's some damage.
Yeah, actually, that's right. You killed their tree man, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, it's true. Pink did it.
But like, to be honest, I don't like tree men, but but I'm not. I've played quite a lot of Wood Elves, but I don't think he needs a tree man against most teams in this division. Like, what is a tree man best accomplish? Is it good against strength teams, or is it good against? I suppose
I think it just reduces attrition. I think that's the main thing, and it's kind of like a pillar that you can play around. Like, he's obviously not going to move very much, but if you're trying to like stall out a half or something, being able to like move around him makes it quite hard for the other opposing team to like get in your way. Like you can kind of move from side to side a lot better, I think.
That is true, and I suppose the really skilled Wood Elf coaches do that even when the Tree Man is rooted, don't they? Because they make sure it
Oh
roots
yeah,
somewhere
exactly.
in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you kind of expect the Tree Man to root after about 3 turns, and then it's interesting because it's like a standstill pillar in the middle of the game. But the lack of Tree Man obviously didn't hurt Venejar in this game, so he was 1860 even without the Tree Man. So I'm sure.
And I think just having AV10 on the line instead of all AV7 it just helps with attrition.
Yeah, unless the other guy has claw and can.
Yeah, I mean that can go both ways. It can often be quite a trap, trying to go for the really high AV, high strength targets, like the treatment being one of the like pinnacle of those types of players. Like, you know, if you don't actually get them down, and they just because he's got stand firm as well, so if you roll pushes or whatever, and then you end up with like 4 or 5 of your players stood next to the treatment and he's still there, that can really mess up your game.
Yeah, that's true. Like, you put 3 Chaos Warriors next to a Tree Man, and then try and hit him with your best guard, claw, mighty blow guys, and you just roll pushes, and then the rest of the game just gets taken apart by the war dancers and so on. So yeah, Bite Size Center is just commenting that catcher is pretty insane. He would be more insane if he didn't have the movement down as well as 2 movement up. So he'd be movement 10, agi 5. Sorry, movement 10, agi 6.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, that guy.
I must keep a lookout.
I was lucky in my game against him. He didn't manage to do too much, but he rolled like a double one on a throw and stuff, so I was just a bit lucky there.
I mean, did he try and strip the ball off you, or did he have sure hands when you played against him?
I did have sure hands, but he did manage to get a few. He got a couple of 1-diers and maybe 1-2 die on the ball carrier. It's pretty hard to stop the strength 4.
Strength 4 war dancer.
In there and doing something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was tricky. I don't know what would have happened actually, because he came in and he got the ball off me and he double wand a throw with the agility 6 guy. But the person you're throwing it to had already acted, and they were technically within reach of my wrestle.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
My wrestle
Your
tackle.
wrestle tackle guy.
So I don't know. It could have won in the game there potentially, but I would have had a turn to try and recover it. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, he's actually. I wonder if he's intentionally only running with 2 catches, because I think Woody's normally run at least 3 catches, so maybe he's looking to save up. But I'm not sure. He probably would be looking to buy the Tree Man back again. But how does Viking? You must be in what's it called when you get to a certain team value and you start paying some of your winnings, spiraling expenses. How does spiraling expenses work for a team like High Sales?
Okay, let me see. He has 118.70, so he has to pay 10k from his winnings after each game. You know how it works. Starting from 1750 or beyond. I don't know if it starts at 1750 or 1760. You have to pay 10k from your winnings in steps of 150k. So from 1750 to 19, something like that, you pay 10k. From 1910 to 2,050,000, you pay 20k, and from 2,060,000 to 2.2 million, you pay 30k, and if you go beyond, then you like, I know, the Drakkar Dominators from the big O, you have to pay like 40 and 50 and so on.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, I'm just wondering whether he's having trouble saving up the money for these expensive players, like a Tree Man.
Well, the problem with spilling expenses is if you have to replace players.
Yeah.
I mean, if you play really fragile teams such as, let's say, Wood Elves, in which you have armor 7, even losing a lineman proves problematic because you have to pay 70k to replace him, and you don't want to. So that's why several of high TV elf teams do not roster even 11 players in their teams, and they rely on the loaners that they are given at the beginning of the game, just even because they are good for the line of scrimmage fodder.
Yeah, so you just try and get more out of your slightly wounded players or learners. So it's interesting to just think about sparring expenses, because some players won't have experienced that high TV for a long time in a league before. So it's certainly something to think about when you got that level on your woodies.
Of course, when they are at that level and they have to replace an important player, let's say this strength forward dancer, think that if he loses him, he's also dropping $250,000 in TV value.
Yeah, sure.
So spreading expenses will not be a problem anymore.
Yeah, because just team value comes down a lot. So, well, that's Venejar. But Venejar is not. I thought he would really run away with this league, but he's I think had a few tough games. So he's on 2 wins, a draw, and 3 losses so far. So he's just thrashed the Uruk Haikus 3-0, but he's still only on 7 points. So he needs to bring up a little bit if he's looking to get close to the playoffs this season. So. What should we look at next? The Zandri Constructs. We haven't talked much about Khemri team. Either of you two played Khemri ever?
No, but I would like to.
Really?
Yeah, I actually,
Yes.
I think they look kind of cool. I find it really annoying. I think it's a really bad design decision that they nerf Tomb Guardians by giving them decay.
Yep.
I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what I would have done instead. Like maybe nerf something else on the team. I don't know, but it just really annoys me. I think it's a bad way of nerfing something because it doesn't affect the game at all. Not even a little bit. It doesn't have a single ounce of difference in the game itself.
Yeah.
The only way it hurts the team is in terms of their progression over a longer period of time, and that's just kind of shit. Like I don't like that at all.
It's nothing to do with. It doesn't affect in play whatsoever, does it? So
yeah, not an ounce, not a tiniest little bit, not 1%. And I just don't think that's a good way of nerfing a team.
There aren't many Blood Bowl rules that do not apply to in game at all, are there? So I think that's probably only one. As it happened,
the Nurgle, whatever it is, Nurgle's Rot.
Yeah, that gets you free rotters.
Yeah, but they don't come in the game.
Mm.
You don't get them until afterwards, so that's the same kind of thing. But that's, I don't know. I guess it is kind of similar, but I think it annoys me more with the Khemri because it's a nerf. It's like I would much rather. I think it's also just a quite boring way of nerfing something, like because hindering your progression is like just a frustrating way of doing that.
Yeah, everybody likes progression, right? So nobody
I don't know exactly what they could have done instead. If they felt that they needed to change something, like if the team was too strong, I suppose they. I don't know what they could have done, but I just don't like it that much. But I still think they look like a fun team to play. If you get lucky enough and your Tomb Guardians don't go and die on you, I think they could be super fun. And they're like one of those weird teams that a lot of people I think get kind of caught out playing against them, like they're not really sure how to deal with them.
Yeah, they think, oh my god, all this strength 5, what the fuck is my strategy against this lot? So, what's the attraction, Viking?
This is a challenging team. I mean, you have low movement, high strength, okay, but with not really good starting skills, but for the Blitz Rush. You have an amazing ball carrier with agility too. So this is an excellent team to learn positioning in this game, and learn positioning in the hard way. I mean, learning from your mistakes, because every mistake, little as it can be, will cost you a lot. So that's for me, that's the challenge. I mean, it's good for making you think and making you improve your general play style. And that also has a different flavor. It's a kind of fluffy team. I agree with Pink regarding the decay on the Tomb Guardians. I think it's kind of the answer to give them a small or cheap cost of 100,000 gold coins for the players. Yes, they also have the nerf of the Necromancer. They have no Necromancer, contrary to to the undead or the necromantic team. They can't raise the dead. They can't generate new skeletons for free.
It's
But
as well, sorry, Karen.
no. But there is that kind of fluffy team that seems to be able to work somehow. You can have a lot of dirty players. These skeletons are kind of nice. They are movement 5, agility, movement 5, armor 7, armor value 7. Yeah, okay, that sucks. But yeah, thick skull compensates a little. I kind of like them, because of that kind of underdog charm they may have.
Well, I am slightly tempted, but not tempted enough. I think there's a few other teams I'm going to play next. So
I do think it's weird though, because like you've kind of hinted at, they're not, they're considered a harder team to play. They're definitely not top tier. Like compared to a lot of those top tier teams, you probably expect to fare fairly poorly. Why do you think they did feel the need to nerf them? Like, I don't really understand.
I think they must have. I mean, Blood Bowl rules are sort of written with tongue in cheek a lot of the time, aren't they? And I think they must have thought Decay was a good flavor type thing for the Tomb Guardians. I mean, they could, if they didn't want to nerf the Tomb Guardians, they could have just made it a bit more expensive, couldn't they? So,
I'd much prefer that.
But I think it's just since a lot of people love seeing their players level up, having players that are just really, hard to kill in game, but they just fall apart when they do get killed in game. I think you're right. It is a bit
extra suspense.
Yeah, it's like shit. What's going to happen to my best Tomb Guardian now that he's finally been killed? But anyway, so that's the Zandri Constructs. They managed to win 1-0 against the Nordic Nooblets, Bainesy's team. Have you played these guys yet, Pink? Because
no, I haven't played any of the Norse yet this season.
Oh, Ragnar Lothbrok 2.0 died in that game. So he's trying to develop another Berserker, but he'll have to buy another one. Bainesy. He's still got Bjorn Ironside, the other Berserker on the team, who's a 109 star player point Berserker. So it's got pretty much everything that you would need. Mighty Blow, Piling On, Tackle, Pro, Juggernaut, Pure Killer. And also Betty the Yeti is still representing for the team. So I don't know how Nordic Nooblets are doing this season. That's
yeah, that Yeti is pretty ridiculous, isn't it?
He's struggling down in 11th, so on 1 win, 2 draws, and 3 losses. But I should imagine the amount of Kazes he's managed to produce are quite impressive. So yeah, Betty is a bit of a standby. Betty's on the floor more often. I would say that Betty lies down easily, but then I didn't want to be suggesting anything about Betty. But she's on the floor quite often, just piling on to our opponents.
Disturbing presence still works on the floor. So.
Yeah, that's true. It still disturbs any passing going on, but the trouble is, then Betty piles on, and then you feel that you have to blitz with somebody else, and then all of a sudden it's a 4+ for Betty to even sort of get up off the floor. So then she spends most of the rest of the time, the half, on the floor while the play goes somewhere else on the field. So having a wild animal with piling on. Oh, didn't I just suggest that for the Minotaur? Yeah, I think I
You did, yeah.
maybe that wasn't such a good idea. So, but there's another team, Major Byte's Norse team is an interesting one to compare to. I think Major Byte's got a lot more agility and a lot more dodge and a lot more better developed runners, and Bainesy's team generally goes for the kill and the foul. So 2 different sort of strategies to playing Norse. We've got a couple more teams to have a look at. Filbo, I think Filbo took a loss this week. Let's have a quick look, because he's dropped down the table a little bit. Let's not die this season, lads. I don't think his lads have been dying too much, but who did he play against? Ah, yes, Bobby's Dark Elves. This must have been an interesting match. Let's have a look. So Filbo's gone with 2 Frenzied Blitzers and 1 Agi 5 Blodge Blitzer. I love this team. This is so great.
That's cool. I do like that. Do you think? I guess maybe throwing to the blitzer. I was going to say, would you consider getting rid of the thrower? Because a lot of people don't like the thrower on orcs anyway.
And just using the blitzer as a
ball carrier, but I guess maybe it's quite nice throwing to him sometimes. I don't know if he does that. I haven't seen any of his games. But.
I think he probably does throw to the blitzer, but I think you're right. I would definitely consider just carrying with the knight, and then because the thrower is just pretty bad on. Like, if I was given the choice at the beginning of every offensive drive, do I want to give the ball to the thrower for the half, or do I want to give the ball to the Agi 5 Blodge Blitzer? I would definitely give the ball to the Agi 5 Blodge Blitzer. So they're both movement 6, but this guy dodges like crazy, like a super elf. So
yeah, I do like. I am in favour of the thrower on like an average team, but I think if you have an agility 6 blitzer, then, not a 6, agility 5 blitzer, then
well,
change things.
I mean, let's think about this. So every time the thrower the cage gets blitzed, and one man gets left in contact with with your thrower, then you've got no option just to blitz away the man that's in contact with the ball, because you don't want to be taking 3+ dodges. But if the cage gets blitzed and left in contact with the Agi 5 Blodge Blitzer, then you can blitz wherever you like, and the blitzer will get away on a 136.
As well, especially when you're playing a kind of like traditional bash team. That kind of stuff can kind of catch people out a little bit. Like I've got an agility 4 ball carrier, and it happens relatively often where like someone will come and do that. They'll come and base me with a couple of guys, and if anything, it ends up putting them out of position, because I'll just be like, fine, I'll just dodge away, like, and it means I can go and blitz somewhere else, create some space, and just like move away from them. And then quite a lot of the time, those players they've come and based originally are like kind of too far forwards, and I kind of moved the play past them.
Yeah, so moving the player away from their attack without having to spend too much effort on it, just by
without
doing
having
a
to do
quick
a
dodge.
blitz, but you can get even more space somewhere else to move into, and then just move away from where they've already just put like 2 or 3 players to try and bog you down, and you're just like, whatever, just leave.
Yeah, so that's why I would like to, if I was going to be Philbar, I would like to be carrying with the knight, but I'll see how it goes. What do you think, Viking?
I think that we come to this discussion every week about the orc thrower
About
and
orc
the skeleton throw.
True, yeah. I think, but I'm just saying, in ball carriers in general, I like to have them. Even with my elf throwers, I like to have them on one of my blodgers rather than an elf thrower that. Like, cause I don't even like dodging away on a 1 in 6 very often. I prefer to dodge away on a 1 in 36. So.
That's because you don't know Green Lantern from Gman 1, from the Super Green. That is a good orc thrower.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think that's Yasin's. I think I'm playing him next week actually, so I'll get a bit more familiar with him.
Try to strip the ball. Try to strip the ball from him. Yes.
Not gonna happen. Let's look at Bobby's Dark Elf team. So he's had this team. I don't know how much. Let's see how many deaths he's taken. But he's had a tough season. But I think he's just starting to bring around a little bit.
4 deaths already.
4 deaths this season. I know that he's had a bit of a harsh time. Let's have a look at the Dark Star second liner's graveyard. So we've had a good blitzer die, and yeah, another blitzer. He's not lost any of his witch elves though, so just blitzers really. A nice movement stat up blitzer and a tackle blitzer. But this is not an old team. This is a developing team, and he's already got 2 good witch elves, including an Agi 5 one. He's got a Mighty Blow tackle blitzer. Rolled a double there. He's got no guard in his team, which you would quite like to have at this stage in Dark Elves. But I'm running a Dark Elf team in another league that's about at this stage. It's about 1650 team value, and it's really nice actually. It's kind of Dark Elf teams are solid armor 8 teams, so they don't fall apart very often, and they can pull quite a lot of bullshit once they start getting the odd really good player.
And you have blodge on like everyone, which is like at not too high a team value.
And also it's easy to easy to develop your other players. So elf teams, unlike some other teams, you can basically, when you get an MVP, you can easily get one more skill point to get them to the first skill, and then you can easily feed them a touchdown if need be, if you want them to get them to level 2, and then you have block and dodge on all of your linemen. So it's quite easy to sort of develop block and dodge right across the team. So which is quite scary for a lot of teams who only have 1 or 2 tacklers in the whole team. So yeah, I like this.
I mean, the thing is, if you have 2 Witch Elves, then you've got 6 players that only need 1 skill to have either Blodge or Rodge.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite unusual for an elf team, because other elf teams, well, certainly high elves and pro elves, don't start with those sort of core skills. They start off with a lot of players with. It's harder to get that many Blodge players. Woodies start off with 2 Blodge players out of the box, and then dodge on their catches. So they're quite quick to develop all the Blodge as well. So Woodies and Dark Elves are probably the ones that get more Blodge quickly. But yeah, so we'll see how Bobby's getting on. But he's obviously pulled out a good 1-0 against Philbo this week. So
that Agility 5 Witch is going to be a really good player. He's almost leveling up, so I imagine he'll get like tackle or leap probably.
I think tackle comes. Oh no, I think leap comes.
It would
next,
normally,
actually.
but with Agility 5, I don't know.
I think
normally,
I think I'd probably go leap, because you could get some crazy surfs just leaping in, unexpectedly, and then surf from an interesting angle. So
yeah, I also like his Swiss knife player lineman, who has Derry player, kick and wrestle. It's kind of multitask. Multitask, very nice.
I'm sure that guy has had some MVPs. Can we? I don't know if we're able to find out how many MVPs he's had. You'd probably need to go in game to see, but that guy probably got dirty player, and he's given him no extra feeding, but he's just picked up a lot of. I just I had my 37 SPP lineman on my Skaven team.
On Farouk?
He's just been fired, so fired for this week. So just fired for hogging the limelight too much. So
I'm just checking. He's had 4 MVPs.
Oh, okay. So he must have picked up some more skill points in different places then. So all right. So to finish off Div 2, last thing we'll have a look at is Alve, which is Major Byte's other Norse team, and they must have had the bye this week, I guess. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, they were up against the Ferry team, so who have dropped from the division. So that's some free SPP from Alve. Let's have a quick look at Major Byte's team. I love this Norse team. This is a hot stuff Norse team. Although he needs to get rid of he's surely going to sack the random Agi 2 lineman, but
no, it's perfect for line of scrimmage, cannot further, so it's not a problem. He will die, so
maybe.
Yeah,
I sack players a lot quicker than you guys do. So I would rather have a loner than him. I think so. Although, how many players has he got? 1, 2, 3.
13.
Okay, so
on an elf that had minus agility, I'd probably rather have a loner. But I think for a Norse lineman, I might keep him around. I mean, it all depends how much money you've got. If you've got like a full bank, then might as well just replace him. But if not, I wouldn't mind keeping him around if I didn't have the money to replace him.
Yeah, he can roll doubles and get guard. That is lacking severely in this team. Something.
Yeah, he doesn't have a single guard actually.
Yeah, it's not a very strengthy. It's got no Yeti. It's a weird team, really. I suppose it's kind of a bit like I don't know what to. I've not seen a Norse team like this before. It's got no piling on. It's not got that much kill to it. It's got not got much strength at all.
Lost a Ulf, which had block, mighty blow, guard. And then he's started off this new one with mighty blow, which I think makes sense. I think he's in one of those situations where it just ended up coming a bit late. Like it's quite okay to go mighty blow first on the Ulfs, but then like this one guy got strength, so you're going to pick that, aren't you? And then you kind of need block, so it's just kind of been delayed, and then obviously the last one died. So.
Actually, I take that back. He has got a Yeti. His name is Skald Petmar #2 because the strength up Ulfwerner is like a better Yeti, pretty much, isn't he? So
no claw there.
no claw, I suppose that's the one downside, but no wild animal and no loner either. So so that's a big plus.
But the claw, surely, I mean, it's kind of the reason you have a Yeti, right? Is to get a claw on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Ulf is also about to level. So what would you give to him?
Guard, probably.
Piling on.
Tackle.
You're all for the piling on.
Piling on, yeah.
No, I think the berserkers get piling on. Then they need
because they jump up, so
Yeah.
that makes.
yeah.
I'd get guard or tackle, probably.
I would say tackle.
Yeah, I think maybe tackle. Although the Ulf can often, with only Agi 2, is not the player that you're going to send after the ball carrier very often on blitzes, unless the defense really falls apart. So maybe guard. Like I do like guard on a strength 5 guy, because he's just going to be there, isn't he? So maybe guard.
Yes and no.
Go guard and then
Because-
stand firm on him or something.
Yeah, yes and no because of frenzy. Because
Yeah.
he's going to be there the first block, but not in the second.
Yeah, true. So I mean,
And as a rule, I'm not a big fan of guard on frenzy players, just because it's harder to position it well.
to control where they're supposed to be. Yeah. So maybe stand firm then, because I mean, oh no, I mean he's not going to get surfed very easily or counter surfed very easily when he's strength 5. So probably doesn't need stand firm. Yeah, it's a tricky one actually. Maybe.
Oh,
tackle
I
then.
see that Majorbite is leading the run for the most casualties suffered in the league in the entire Gman.
He's taken.
Really?
He's taken 30.
30.
Let's have a quick look at his graveyard. That's harsh.
Oh, there's a lot of dead people in his graveyard. Yeah.
Yeah, there's enough material there for a
Oh,
new
wow.
team, eh?
Yep. That is. He's lost a lot of berserkers, and berserkers are 110, and one of the more expensive players on the. Oh no, sorry, not 110. There's the level up berserkers are 110. So.
Do you know if these players in the graveyard are they just from this season, or are they for the whole?
No, they will be from previous seasons
Yeah,
too.
That's from the whole season.
From last season, where the teams from the REBBL started featuring in the league manager of Blood Bowl.
Yeah, so I guess Major Bite's taken some punishment, but he's certainly good. I've played him a couple of times in Cole actually, so he's a good opponent to play, and he'll be back with the. It's one of the more interesting Norse teams, and it'll be really good to see how he's got some really nice runners there, and I think he can do some good stuff with it. But yeah, so actually,
The runners are amazing, yes.
yeah, I wouldn't mind like taking over this Norse team just to have a game or two with it and see what it's like to play, because I'm so out of my depth with Norse that I don't even know whether that's whether he's in a good state or not. But so that's Div 2 pretty much covered for this week. Well, Pink, how do you see your chances for the rest of the season? We're nearly halfway through the season, so it's 3 spots available, right, in this league?
I think I've got a pretty good chance. Next week is going to be really tough. I'm playing against Gaudi's Ravens Claws, obviously doing really well. I think I'd be pretty happy if I came out with a draw, to be perfectly honest. But the rest of the season, I think I've got a pretty good chance.
Yep.
After that, it's more bash than anything else, and in theory, that's what I'm best at playing against at this point. My last couple of games against bash have gone completely the other way, but it's been a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think I've got a pretty good chance.
I think it's going to be between. I think Crowdog can recover, so his team is not done for yet. Although it's taken some big knocks, so it's going to be amongst the top 5. Although Venachar, if anybody's going to come down from lower down in the division and make a run for it, I would say either Venachar or Bobby, both of whom have got records that are below what I expected from the beginning of the season. So I think those two the elf teams could
I
get some
would
revenge.
expect they've been slightly unlucky.
Mm.
I haven't watched any of their games or anything, but I would imagine, you know, I could see them suddenly turning around and winning like almost every other game or something that they play. They could, like, you know, maybe they'll only drop one more game for the whole season, and they'll suddenly find themselves in the top couple of people. So
yeah, so making a bit of a run for it. So be interesting. Viking, have a quick look at Division One. What's your outlook looking like for this week? Who are you playing against?
Oh, it's a big game. I'm crossing cross with the Sage.
I am looking forward to this. Have you got it scheduled? Is it on for a particular day?
Yeah, it will be next Monday, 19:30 GMT.
Right, I am tuning into that. So it's going to be Viking Cops Chaos 2100 against Sage Slaanesh Sorcerers Chaos number 2.
first versus second as well. It's quite exciting.
No matter what happens, you're still going to be first after that match. So
That is true. I was lucky with some unexpected losses / draws from my immediate pursuers. But I mean, the season is still long. Many awesome coaches coming after Sage, such as Reef, KG, Toast, Dreamify. So, I mean, I think that not everything is sold at the moment. There is still many weeks to go, and yeah, things may change a lot in the following weeks.
yeah, I was looking at my.
Did pretty well as well. Yeah, you were quite after the first couple of games this season. I know, Fatin, you were a bit unsure about how it was going to go, but you've done.
Yeah, Fatin, where is all your fatalism?
Oh my god. Well, where is my fucking team? It's more to the point. So they're disappearing very quickly. So I'm not gonna have I'm looking ahead. I've been looking ahead over the next few weeks and thinking, shit, this is a good player with a really good team, and so is that guy, and so is that guy, and I'm thinking, how are the Rats going to survive?
That's going to be every game, you know. You're in the top division.
Sure, there's the top division, and you'd expect that, wouldn't you? So I just wish I had a 2-season-old Rat team rather than a 1-season-old Rat team. I think I'd put up a bit more of a fight if I had 2 seasons. It's just it's really it's pretty tough, and the attrition is taking hold a little bit. But anyway, I'll do the best. I'm up against Keji this week, Freakazoid Escapees. So if I can take down Skeletor with a cheeky foul, I definitely will do. So
he has a bounty. Just a reminder.
Oh, excellent! That's even more incentive. Perhaps I'll forget about the score and just go for Skeletor full on.
I approve.
See how that meets the expectations of the rest of the division. I think I'll be doing a lot of fouling. Just warning Keji right here. There'll be a lot of.
Fouling Skeletor.
Are you trying to dissuade him from piling on?
Pile on a Skeletor makes the bounty double, for you to know.
Ah, right, okay. So I'll be doing some piling on. Anytime there's a wolf on the floor, they're getting fouled as well. 260 value and 240 value. So I might be only fouling with like one player left on the field, but he'll be fouling. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Right, okay. Thanks very much, you two. It's been fun talking about the division. Where are we on our rotation, and what are we talking about next week? I guess we're talking about Div 3 next week, aren't we?
Yes.
So we'll catch up on how things are doing with all the Div 3 people. Looks like Creatan's winning out on that one. He's the guy. Is he the guy with the tackle? No, it's not the tackle rock score. He's the block score, but. Yeah, Creatan's always good, but he's got some good competition in that division. It's a really good division as well. So
really close. Look at that.
Yeah,
4 teams on 13 points.
4 teams on 13, and yeah,
that's pretty exciting actually. That's a cool division. I like that.
I've been keeping an eye on a few matches from Div 3, and there's some really good matches too. So, and I guess just finally, sorry to the guys. I know there's been a lot of guys saying, how about Div 4B and 4? Oh my God, C. D, E, so many people that I haven't been keeping an eye on really, but we always go longer than our allotted hour just talking about the top 3 divisions.
One each week.
Yeah,
and
so
rotate it, so
yeah, it would be nice to see everybody, but we've just only got a bit of time. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for everybody who's been on Twitch, and we'll. catch you next week. Thanks, Viking Cop.
Thanks to you.
And cheers to Invent Pig. Good luck in your game.
Yeah, same to you guys. It's been fun.
Yep. All right. Cheers. Have a good evening.